Hi, I'm Tom Connery. In this video, I'm going to provide an overview for a web design platform you may not have heard of before. I call it the secret web design tool that agencies don't want you to know about. Sound good? Let's get started. You might be thinking I'm going to talk about Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, Webflow, Statamic, or some other web design tool, but I'm not. This one's called Duda, and today I want to show you an overview of the interface and why I think it could benefit you as an entrepreneur, a small business owner, or even a freelancer, even though Duda is primarily sold to agencies for building websites at scale. One last thing. I've got a guide available to walk you through the process. I am an affiliate with Duda, so I will say that there's a button on the guide to create your account and so on, but it's all free to get started, free to use, free to test out the builder. The only time you pay for Duda is when you actually activate the site. So if you want to reference the guide and test it out, go to diy.aynimedia.com. That's diy.aynimedia.com. Follow the steps and test it out. This is Duda. You'll notice their logo in the top left corner, and today I'm going to cover with you the navigation bar or header and the left side menu as well, just to show you what the look and feel is for Duda itself. I won't really be talking about the template and the designer that much in this specific video, but you'll see I'm scrolling through the home page right now from this template. I haven't really changed anything except something here, but let's start covering the header menu. From left to right, you've got a drop down option here with home, shop, about, stories. So this template has a number of pages already available, and I can quickly bounce between those pages using this navigation drop down. You'll see a desktop view and edit screen, the tablet view and edit screen, taking you into the tablet mode for that same page that we were on, or mobile. So this is how you would navigate between the designs of each type and make your changes. By default, it's always best to build your site in the web browser mode and then sort of shift it or change it for tablet and mobile afterwards. This is a site search option or quick access search for anything you need to find, or you're struggling with SEO. Where do I do that? You're struggling with an image. Here's different image options here that you might be looking for. You click it, it'll actually add it right to the top area of the page, but it's a good place to find what you're looking for. A nice helpful guide. Info and tools. This will give you your site name, its published status, the preview link URL for all devices, desktop, mobile. Stats, if it was published, you'd see stats here for the site, the editor language you want to use, and whether or not you want to enable experimental features. So that's here. The check mark isn't something you click. It's just a status that automatically changes every time you want to change something. And click commit. You'll see the ellipses or triple dots show up. That's saving, and it made the changes. So autosave is enabled. This is the undo. If I wasn't happy with that last edit I made, I click this button and it goes back to the way it was. And you can actually roll back 2, 3, 4, 5 changes in a row. I don't know exactly how many it is. I've done a few before. And here's a redo, last edit. To access HTML and CSS, I won't be covering this today, but I want you to know it's important that you can access page HTML, CSS. You can access body end component, which is really important when you're making a website and you want to add something like chatbots, for example, to each page. So you can do this work in here and customize your site in dev mode. The preview link gives you sort of an idea of what the site will look like across different devices. And you can use these icons to shift between each one to see what the experience might look like. I actually think it's better to get the site preview link itself this way, copy and paste this into a different browser or multiple types of browsers if you want to see what the experience is on Firefox, Chrome, Edge, Safari. Here's the publish button when you're ready to pay for the site and publish it. You can completely build an entire site for free, and if you don't like it, you don't publish it, you don't pay for it. Question mark here is for help. Opens a new tab of basically self-service support with Duda. And the homepage takes you back to your dashboard where you'll have your list of sites you own or that you're working on, and a couple other options and menus. I'll go over that in a future video. Let's shift to the left side menu. You got design. All the global settings are here, and if you're building a website, you want to start at the global design components first, because this impacts the rest of the pages. So you don't want to edit text for every single paragraph on every single page, setting up the font you want to use, the size you want to use. You do all that stuff here. Colors, more options, font weight, line height, H1, H2, H3, everything is here. So you'd go through and pick the fonts and sizes and settings you want to use globally across the site. Same thing for buttons, button designs, button colors, sizes, borders, that's done here. Images also have their own default settings. So when you import a new image, how do you want it to look? Do you want to use round images every time you add something new? Of course, it's not stuck being round. You can just change the settings and put it back to rounded edges versus square or circular itself. Rows. As you work in these in the builder, you'll see these blue horizontal lines that kind of pop up as you scroll up and down, and those separate rows. So you can default your row backgrounds to being a certain color, just like that. So now the whole background of the site, each row anyway, is going to be that color. And row spacing is the padding top and bottom that you want to use as a default. So a few options on rows here to go through. The site background, I think the only time I've really used this where it works well is certain pages can have their own image background customized. I don't use this that often, but that's where you would use these settings or change these settings. And the site layout, this is pretty cool. You want to use probably the wider width available, which is 1200 pixels for the site, and you can pick basically what the high-level navigation feel is. So do you want a top bar header for the desktop or browser version, a sidebar menu, an expandable menu? On the tablet, do you want to use expandable or top? And on mobile, what do you want your menu type to be? You pick all that here for the site layout. Moving on to pages, you've got pages and pop-ups. There are no pop-ups created for this site currently, but that's where you would do so. And you can quickly shift between pages here the same way you could in the header navigation. The gear icon is super important, as this is where you would rename pages, choose to hide it in any navigation or the menu itself, duplicate pages to save yourself some time, updating the URL if you don't want to use, in this case, about being the URL. We could change that here. At any time, you can quickly jump into these. It's the same actual menu, but you'll see URLs here. SEO options for the title are here. If you want to block the page from indexing, it's here. SEO description, keywords, which aren't used that much anymore, but you can still do it. Setting a password to protect the page or lock it down, and header HTML for the page specifically. So every page has these settings, and just make sure you click save after you make changes. This one here, you see a little down arrow. It's because it has sub pages, and you can actually move and drag a page and create a hierarchy, if you will, for pages, and change the order. And when you change the order here, it changes on the menu. Pretty simple stuff. The order up here will change. Under widgets, there are a lot of different components you can add to your web page. Icons, sliders, maps, buttons, contact forms. So many different things to go through here. As I do some future builds online and create more videos, you'll be seeing me use a lot of these over time. I'm not going to explain them really today, but there's a lot of great components, widgets out there for Duda at your disposal. Content. I think the important thing about content is the import ability. In many cases, you're working with someone or you yourself have a current website and you want to import some images, phone numbers, email addresses, things like that that have already been entered and they're on that site. Duda has a process where you can pretty much put in a URL, click import, and it'll scan your site, and try to bring in those pieces. It's a little bit hit or miss. I've seen some sites allow you to import more than other sites. I think moving off of WordPress is probably the best scenario for import content. I've had a little bit of less success on something like from Wix or Squarespace because I have actually migrated customers off all those platforms into Duda. But it's here and it is helpful. It may not be great and get everything, but it's helpful. Business info is where you manage your phone numbers across the site, email addresses you want to use, or possibly reference in some of the widgets, the contact forms, things like that. Social accounts, where you would set all the social accounts for the business or the website here, and any addresses, and you can add multiple locations if you need to. These are just time savers because you do them here and then they're available globally. So if I go add a social icons widget to the header somewhere, if I've already populated this with all the URLs for that business or that person, well, they're all available. I don't need to go update that widget and check those URLs for each service. Find and replace is kind of self-explanatory. This is part of the import content procedure. The import content will run through this after it finds numbers and ask you, hey, we found this phone from this site. Do you want to replace it with this one? Or you can just do this manually. Locations. There's a few things you can go through. Site content is where you can manage your images here, files, and form responses. One thing to know about images is you can upload unlimited space. So here, let me cover something briefly about the difference of Duda and other platforms at their lowest cost level. There's no restriction on bandwidth. You could have a very busy, popular website and they don't charge you more. There's no restriction on the amount of uploads or space you can consume, and other platforms do have limitations like that. Another thing about Duda, which we're going to get to in just a minute, is the store. You can have a 10 product physical store for free, no added cost. It's very basic, but it's free without you paying any additional fees. There are additional fees for more advanced store components and features, which are really worth it. But I think that's another thing that separates Duda from their competitors. Looking at images again, if we are searching for something like the word plumber, and I want to say, just show me free ones. I don't want to pay for anything premium. I want to see what's out there that Duda already has available that I could pull in. So you can filter by what you're looking for. If you don't mind paying for some images, you're going to charge back your customer or whatever the case may be. Usually it's just a few dollars per image. They all come from Shutterstock, and you can add them with a watermark. So if you're not committed, you don't want to buy them right away, you can add all of these different stock photos with a watermark, and actually when you check out later, it'll ask you, hey, you've got 10 images, they're $3 a piece, you're publishing your site now, do you want to purchase those pictures in one shot? And it'll let you do it really easily and remove all the watermarks automatically. It's a big time saver. Personalization. This is a great way to create pop-ups, notification bars, banners, holiday promotions, trying to send something to your first-time visitor, like a newsletter sign up, or a coupon for a returning visitor. It's a nice way to target certain people for certain reasons. And one of the ways I've done it commonly is with a notification bar at the top of the page, because pop-ups can be a little intrusive. A lot of people don't like pop-ups, but at the very top of the header, you can sort of flash a thin bar about, hey, welcome back, and here's a discount code for you or something like that, or an event coming up that the business has ongoing. I found that to be quite successful, and one of the really cool things about it is you can target someone in a specific zip code. Let's say this store is in their town. They only want to target people locally in their zip code with this certain special offer for residents of their town. They can easily do that. So it's some really neat stuff with personalization. and I'll be creating future videos about this. Here's the store option. I can kind of hover over these. You can pause the video if you want to read them. But the 10 product stores, the free one, it is limited. As you upgrade to standard, you can go to 100 products, have unlimited categories because you are restricted on categories with the 10 product store. A lot of different payment providers. I think the default is just PayPal and Stripe, maybe one other one. Social tools can be used. The advanced store allows for digital downloads if you want to sell digital products. Discount coupons are now available at this tier, and each one will cost a little bit more each month depending on what you want to use. Duda does have a blog component. They've upgraded it this year, and I really think they're going to be spending more time and investment on the blog ability. It's good. It's not great currently, and I'll go over again in a future video exactly how blogging works and multiple articles and how I manage it. It's important to know that Duda received a $25 million investment just this week, actually. And that's a lot of money for them. I think it's one of the reasons you probably haven't heard of this product as much as you've probably heard of Squarespace or Wix and the marketing, the money that those companies spend. They pay influencers and everything else to advertise their services. Duda is still coming up, so it's a great time to get involved, to start becoming a Duda customer, and to leverage their best features and components, because they keep investing more, they keep building more, they keep adding more, and they're doing it faster and faster and faster. I get notifications and emails, it seems almost like weekly or to minimum monthly, about the new things they're rolling out, and it's been impressive. And finally, settings. A lot of items to talk about here, but I'll wrap up this video overview with this. So your favicons, social network images, so if you share your .com link somewhere, what images is it going to pull? Home screen icon for mobile and tablet if you wanted to customize that. You can remove your Powered by Duda when you upgrade your site and publish. The URL itself would be available here for you to customize and pick your domain once you publish. I usually use Namecheap.com. That's my favorite service for buying domains. So that's one difference with Duda. You will see other platforms often offer is a free domain included, and free SSL. So Duda won't include your URL domain for free. You do have to buy that separately, but it's usually $12, $15 a year, something like that, depending on what service you use. The SSL certificate is free. Once your domain is set up, you generate that here. The SEO tab, these are SEO settings across the site as a whole. I don't use these. I actually manage SEO on a page-by-page basis. But down bottom, there is something kind of important, whether or not you want to lazy load images. I do this to improve page speed as much as possible. The only other thing I found recently that I like to uncheck is to show default system fonts while custom fonts are loading. And the reason I stopped showing this is because I had seen instances on like a slow page load or slow internet where your words will pop up on the screen and then kind of flash and change to the font you picked in your global settings. And I don't really like that experience, so I've been disabling this one, but by default, it's enabled. Google Analytics, this is where you set up your analytics account, you get your ID, you paste that in here, and there's a stats section of Duda, and you can really nicely see stats without having to go to Google Analytics all the time. It's not really in-depth statistics about Duda, but it'll tell you quite a bit of information. Again, I'm happy to review that in a future video. URL redirects from your old site to your new site. Any changes you need to make, you can add redirects here quite easily. The header HTML, this is across the entire site, not on a page-by-page basis. Back on the pages section under SEO is where you would do that. The backup site is one of my favorite features to Duda because it's so fast to just write a date or a version, whatever you want to do, and click save. Oh, that's right, I already did one of these earlier. Date version 2. And now I can go make changes to any page I want. Let's say I was experimenting with some things, added some new sections. I didn't like it. I want to go back and restore it. I just come back to the backup site spot, click restore, and it's back so easily. It's a fantastic feature. Here's site language, which you can change for translation. Privacy settings. I don't use the custom privacy page. I typically build one manually under Pages. Clicking notification is optional, but you can turn that on here and customize that. And the 404 page customization is here, and you can preview it and change it. Progressive Web App is also an option available for Duda as well. All right, and that wraps up the Duda overview. Thanks again. I hope you were able to receive value from this video and learn something. If you did, whack that like button. And if software is your thing, web design, optimization, business improvement, please consider subscribing to my channel. All those topics I'll be covering week after week here. Thanks again. Take care.